Oh, but I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kickstarter. Well, I did the guitar festival in Bulgaria, in Plovdiv, which was a great success and gave me the idea of making an album from the musical ideas. And I thought Kickstarter made the most sense to raise the money. Had my initial targets, which were kind of reached. A 60-day campaign. My initial target was £15,000. Reached that in the first 24 hours.
Right.
Spent it in the next 24.
And I didn't spend it all.
No.
And went on to raise £59,000, which was absolutely amazing, which has enabled me to buy lots of equipment with flashing, blinking lights, and have a great weekend down at Real World Studios, recording and filming with Lasse Hoyle for the special edition. And
How do I do that?
It was great. And I licensed the artwork for the cover, which is a stunning image. It's cost me a fortune just to license that image, mind you, but I think it's worth it. Putting together the tour and fronting some of the costs for the tour, it's been incredibly useful. I'd recommend it again. In fact, I'm talking about doing a Postcards from the Road app, and if that happens, I'm probably going to finance the creation of that through Kickstarter.
Right.
By selling calendars and limited edition books.
What did Kickstarter charge?
It's not that much, actually. I think it was about 5%.
Yeah, but you set a record, didn't you? I mean, it was like the second most, or
it was the second most popular music campaign in the world at one for one period of time, which was pretty cool.
It was not just cool; it was pretty amazing to watch it go up. I mean, the total just kept going up. We watched it, and it just kept.
No, it blew me away. It really did. Just the support that I had,
Yeah.
and it's already created a great buzz for the album.
So how many copies of the album did you buy? so you can scratch that.
Okay, all right. Let's in September though. Let's talk about that a bit. In Tring, it's gonna get when you're gonna.
Yeah, the launch party is September the 20th in Tring, where we will play the album, or at least most of it. We'll have a playback of the album, and we'll perform most of the tracks and have a bloody good time. Really.
Yes, we will.
Yeah. Sorry. But for Tring, it's more about the launch of the album and having enough time to sign things for people and to meet the people who supported it to such an amazing degree, really.
Yeah.
So.
And then the people that you've chosen to play on the album. I mean, how did you pick? Who to use?
Yeah, well, at the moment, the only guest person so far has been Steve Hackett. He's done one of his solos. Hopefully he's going to play a second one. He's done a solo on Morpheus.
I won't feel slighted if I don't get asked with that sort of calibre of player.
And Stephen Wilson's very keen on being involved, hopefully to play on a track and to mix some of the tracks.
Right.
5.1 probably.
Yeah, maybe.
He does a lot of that.
Yeah, Don Airy was lined up to play organ on some of the stuff. I've got an Italian keyboard player, Riccardo Romano, who's played very some keys.
Yes, who came to Real World.
Yeah.
And then Dave.
Of course, my band, Dave and Leon and Yatim. We had an amazing time down at Real World, and it's the whole project is very low key, very easy. It's sort of there's pressure on me, I suppose. At the end of the day, it's my project, but generally speaking, it's a lot easier when you're writing instrumental music.
Yeah, but you'll get the blame.
Yeah, I'll get the blame.
Or the credit.
Or the credit, the credit,
Yeah.
No, because I've heard the 4 tracks, when you came back, and I listened to them, and they were, they start out very melodic, and then they turn out to be really kick-ass type stuff,
the title track.
Yes.
It's going to be really good.
Yeah.
I mean, the version of that we did down at Real World really, really starts out very mellow and kind of atmospheric and acoustic, and then the end section. Yeah. So I think that's what's unusual about this. There's a lot of guitar riffs. It's very much a guitar-based album.
Yeah.
As opposed to when you have 2 keyboard players in the band, sometimes it's difficult to get the guitar riffs in.
Well, you'll work
I'm not
it
stopping
in.
you.
Yeah, you'll work it in. Can you talk about how it was before Lucy came and before she started managing, and the financial, who took care of the managing part, the financial?
Well,
and
we've always sort of looked after things. I mean, even in the early days, we had a manager, John Arneson, and he managed us for about 15 years, up until about the mid 90s, and then it all sort of, he just basically took his eye off the ball a bit and wasn't really that interested, and we realized one day actually we didn't really need him anymore. And so for a few years we sort of looked after things ourselves. But you've either got to decide you're going to be making music or you're going to be running a business, and we didn't really want to be running the business. But having said that, Ian does all the financial stuff. We've all got our different roles to play, really, and although Lucy takes care of the day-to-day management stuff, and she's great at booking the tours and doing all the stuff that I suppose agents, promoters, managers used to do, so she's brilliant. But at the end of the day, we still control our own destiny. We still manage ourselves in the sense that
you only got yourself to blame.
We are the board, and Lucy is the executive.
Right, you have to run it past her.
It is an amazing amount of work that she does.
Yes.
Yeah, I know, because I've kind of booked a lot of the stuff for my touring October and November.
She's done it.
And it's, you realise what's involved, and
Right,
hats
what
off
she
to her,
does.
really.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Considering how when she started working with us, we had this idea we were employing her to do the sort of marketing, PR, promotion stuff. The sort of warm fuzzy stuff. But she's quickly got stuck into the booking the tours and budgets and all the things that she'd never done before, but very quickly learned how to do all that. And between Ian looking after the money, Lucy looking after all that side of things, and Mike Hunter taking care of the studio and all the recording, we've been running a pretty tight ship for the last.
Yeah.
There's a
people
history. There's a history there. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I'm through.
The first time we came to the States in '83, we had a drummer who quit the band halfway through the tour, and the second half of the tour, we had Dallas, Houston, Austin. There was dates in Florida. There was a whole bunch of dates which were in the South. They got cancelled. We went home. 3 years later, we toured with Rush. We did a whole load of dates in the North. We played Canada. We did, and there was all these dates in the South that they offered us, and we had prior commitments. I think we had to get back to play Reading Festival. I can't remember what it was, but we declined to do the dates, not because we didn't want to, but again, we missed out the South. And then there came a point where it just became really difficult to go to the South, the southern states, because we'd never had any history there, and nobody knew how many people might come and see us. And so that's sort of been. It's just an unfortunate fact that because we've not been there, it becomes much harder when the band's been around for 15, 20 years or longer to then start going to these places. But that's not to say we shouldn't give it a try.
Well, exactly. I mean, you've got such a huge fan base now, and you communicate more than you used to. I mean, you're more accessible. I mean, I've noticed that even since I started as a fan. And
it's easier to find out where your fans are these days.
Well, exactly, and that's what I'm saying. As a fan, you've got people in North Carolina, you've got people in Atlanta and Georgia, and
we have been to some of those places, though.
But the problem is it's just kind of trying to make the numbers work, really. I mean, geographically, the States is such a vast.
At the end of the day, you need to have a promoter locally who will put the show on, and their job would be to try and sell the tickets and pay the band something to turn up. We can't just go to somewhere on the hope of a chance that we might get paid some money, because obviously a tour organised like that is not going to.
Well, again, speaking as a fan, I think you'd be surprised at where the lengths that people would come to see you, in New Orleans, if you set up there 2 or 3 nights.
I'd love to. I'd love to see New Orleans. I'd love to play Texas.
Yeah, Texas is. I mean, Texas is huge, and you do have fans out there.
But it's just we have enough fans to cover the expense involved, because even like with a smaller rig that we've brought out for the concert tomorrow and that we use around South America, it's quite a lot of people that we take on the road with us, and it's expensive, and we have to be guaranteed this amount of money just to cover those costs. And if it's like Marc says, if we've not played in a territory, no promoter's going to take a chance on that. And the only thing really would be something like another tour fund, or I think like Pledge Music, some sort of crowdfunding thing to cover more of the states than just the territories we can come to.
We should look into it. I don't think there's any harm in looking into it. So there you go.
Thank you.
There we go.
Okay, now let's get back to the questions. Okay, in talking with your fans and having conversations and stuff, do any of your conversations, do they influence any of your writing, any of the lyrics? Is any story stuck out and you want to incorporate that into a song?
No. I do remember, actually, this is just a random thing, but years ago we were at the Racket Club, the original Racket Club, so this must have been when we were writing Brave, and Steve Hogarth received a letter from this girl. She was 22 years old, and we were playing and he started singing the letter. And it was like a sort of, she was asking all these questions about the meaning of life and what makes for a good life and all this sort of stuff. And it was quite a sort of weird thing where you sort of get this, the people asking questions of the band that we don't know the answers to these things,
Okay, this is for you, Marc. When H came into the group, when he first joined in the band and everything, did you feel threatened or intimidated as a keyboardist? And you played piano.
I stuck pins in his doll every night.
Yeah, voodoo doll. See? Yeah. I mean, was there any competition?
I used to piss on his keyboard, Sorry.
And now you just take dumps on them. Okay. But is there...
no, of course not. No. Seriously, when we work together, if somebody comes up with an idea, or, I suppose in the early days there was a little bit of wariness around each other where we didn't sort of go, oh, I think you should play this, or,
I think you've got such
change that
styles,
sound, We just both do our own thing, and exactly, it's like, he does what he does, I do what I do, and there was a little bit of politeness where he'd go, oh, you can play that if you want.
Sometimes
no, you play it.
You can't remember who played what sometimes, can you?
No, exactly, and that happens a lot. I mean,
but it's the same with all the musicians in the band. The way that we interact musically, there's a sort of empathy involved, where it's not. That's what's unusual and what works so well in this band. It's not about ego. It's not about any musician trying to dominate or trying to show off their technique. We're all kind of about what's creating the best possible music in that situation. So, and I thought that is unusual in a band, and it's one of the reasons we're still making good music, I think.
But you can, the stuff that Steve plays tends to be the things where he's written a lyric and he's come up with some music to go with his lyric, and he's singing and playing, like The Party, the main, or All Fantastic Place at the beginning. So they're the obvious things where it's like the song benefits from him playing and singing it at the same time, because he can do it at the pace that he wants. Of
more sort of delicate sort of technique, really, where Marc, I think, is a lot more sort of left field, and he'll come up with things that nobody else would come up with.
But they complement each other, don't they?
You combine the two, and you have the best of both worlds.
Right.
As long as there's enough room for the guitar.
Well, there's never enough room for the guitar. That's why I have to go do solo albums.